Wow, look at you guys. This is incredible. Welcome to the Virginia Citizens Defense League's 18th annual lobby day. Gun owners of all races and creeds from Virginia and across the country are here to stand in solidarity against gun control. I want to thank all of you for coming out on such a cold day.
Well, we won't back down. We're gonna stand our ground. We know you're trying to open the gates of hell, but we won't back down. So yes, we'll stand our ground. We won't be pushed around. We must keep you from putting our kids in the ground, so we can't stand down. No, we won't back down. We won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't stand down, brother. So we'll stand our ground. And no, we won't back down, 'cause we know what's right, and we got plenty of fight. And if you think you're gonna keep pushing us around, well, you'll lose that crown, 'cause we won't back down. We won't back down. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. We've gotta stand our ground. And no, we won't back down. You know, it's pretty clear. If these lunatics think they have the right to strip us of our rights of self-defense, and if they're willing to do that, what else are they willing to do? Down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. No, we won't back down. Back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. We've gotta stand our ground, so we won't back down. No, we won't back down. Virginians, you won't fight this fight alone.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Ed Levine and Phillip Van Cleve and Pat Webb coming to you live on July 15th at 8 o'clock. And we've got a full schedule set up for you. We do have Maj Toure scheduled to join us at the half hour. We have not heard back from him yet. So if he joins, great. And if not, we'll fill the hour because we got lots of stuff going on. Pat, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
We are great.
Yeah.
Well, let's kick it off right away because Phillip showed me like it looked like Santa Claus holding up the good or bad list of things we want to get to. So just so we don't get behind, let's jump right into it, Phillip.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. And you can always post your questions there in the chat if you have some. We'll try to keep an eye on that. We have got a long list of things that are going on. One of the ones that sort of the breaking thing that happened a couple days ago was the Fourth Circuit here in Richmond ruled that, and this was a panel of 3 judges, ruled 2-1 in that panel that it's not constitutional to deny the rights of an 18 to 20-year-old individual to be able to buy a gun from a dealer, a handgun from a dealer. Right now, under current law, an 18 to 20-year-old cannot buy a handgun from a dealer. So they're not set up to do a background check on them. Instead, they have to buy their gun from a private sale or have it given to them, gifted to them or something. They can buy it, but it's got to be private sale. Well, that's all stupid, and all gun control is stupid. So the Fourth Circuit basically said, wait a minute, these 18 to 20-year-olds march off to war to fight for their country. They listed all the things that you've got adults. These are young adults, and we should not be denying them their right to own a handgun, to purchase one from a dealer, not have to be stuck with buying a handgun, either having it gifted or buying a used handgun from somebody else. So now, number one, there's no doubt in my mind that this will be appealed, and it will be appealed en banc. So they'll be looking for the entire Fourth Circuit to rule on this instead of just 3 judges. So how that'll turn out, we don't know. And I expect that they'll also put a stay on this until the en banc hearing happens. And even if that goes wrong, they'll probably put another stay on it while it heads to the Supreme Court, which is fine with me. If we can get this settled once and for all, and hopefully let the 18 to 20-year-olds buy guns from dealers, that would be fine. So that's where we are on that. At this point, if you're 18 to 20-year-old, I don't think it's really going to mean you can buy a gun yet. I think you're still in for a ride. But at least we're starting out on the right foot here. Let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, and that prohibition on purchasing from a dealer applies to everything except for rifles and shotguns. So lowers, any other weapons, anything like that are prohibited for a dealer to sell for somebody under 21 years old.
So they can't buy an unpopulated lower from you, or can they?
Correct.
Okay, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess they could
only buy long guns.
Yeah, they could turn that lower into a pistol if it's not been built as a rifle yet. And by the way,
because a pistol could kill you more than a rifle would. Right?
Yeah, of course. Especially something as big as an AR pistol.
Right.
It's so easy to conceal this great big gun.
You said something, Ed. I didn't hear you.
I said you scrutinize everything a lot more than the average gun store, so yeah.
Well, yeah, because I could go to jail if I do it wrong.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah. That actually, I'm going to jump out of place here. I can't help but I have to move on what you just said. So, one of the contenders to be our next governor is Terry McAuliffe, who we are now calling Terry Crazy McAuliffe, and we'll just call him Crazy for short. So
at his request.
At his request. He asked us to do this. And what am I going to do? I mean, how can I say no to such a request? So Crazy basically said that it's easier to buy a gun than it is to vote. And he said, call me crazy if that's not the case. So crazy it is.
Crazy Terry has a nice ring.
No matter how you vote, and VCDL is nonpartisan, but it's a very interesting little internet movie for 20 minutes if you go to fastterry.com. Very interesting, very telling.
Or the new one should be Fast Crazy. Maybe they should rename that.
Maybe one of our supporters will buy that name and point it to the fastterry.com.
That's cool. Sure. I mean, who are we to deny him being called crazy? I mean,
we're nobody.
We should spread the word and let everybody know.
He volunteered it, so just roll with it.
And he made sure that the name stuck because he said something that was totally wrong.
Crazy.
Look, this should be VCDL's goal to make what he said true. What he said is not true at all, but what we made it true, now that would be cool. If it were easier to buy a gun than to vote, that needs to be our goal here. Because voting is pretty easy. There isn't much you got to do at all to do that, so we just need to make it equally easy or better even, being able to buy a gun. Then he might lose his title of crazy, but anyhow. So that's, I couldn't resist. We have two important things going on in Virginia. Surrey County is trying to become the 13th locality to have local gun control, and they're kind of going for the whole enchilada. Again, with no exceptions for CHP holders or regular citizens, or and all that. None of that. This is nothing in there. It's just another one of these copy almost of what Arlington did or Alexandria. And yet, this same county in 2019 has a resolution signed unanimously back then, which said that no, they support the Second Amendment. They support Article 1, Section 13. Now, 3 of them have been newly elected since then, so 3 of their names aren't on that resolution. Needless to say, that resolution was put out by the county to its people, and something like that, it's a form of a covenant. It's a promise. It's, we representing you in this county will honor your rights, especially your Second Amendment and Article 1, Section 13 rights.
Now, wait a minute. How many people are on the board?
5.
So 3 would make a majority.
Yeah, they've got the majority. But I'm not seeing the minority. The minority didn't seem resistant to putting this up for a vote. And so 2 of those people were. One's not going to be there. That's why he didn't put up any resistance. Well, I'm not going to be there for the vote. I'm going to be out of town. So that sounds like a weak excuse to me.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do proxies. But the point is, what has happened in Surrey that would, first of all, I don't care what happens. Nothing would justify taking away our rights. But if you're going to play that game, what problems have they had in Surrey? Anybody heard of anything? I haven't heard of anything. They haven't any problem in their government buildings.
I heard of a problem in Surrey. 10 years ago, a friend of mine was walking there and pointed at a guard that he had an argument with, and he got charged with brandishing a finger.
Yeah. So they're, boy.
That's the only thing I know about Surrey.
Yeah. It's a rural area. There's no excuse for this. And if we let them get away with this, if we let them do this and we don't put up a fight, then what are we telling the other sanctuaries out there? That, oh, well, we really didn't expect you to live up to honoring our rights. No, we can't do that. We need you guys out there to step up, and we need to absolutely bombard Surrey with emails. There's a link on the latest alert that went out. It's a link that you can send an email to everybody on the board, one shot, one email. You just have to select one option that says go to the board and send it to them. And we just can't let this slide. I don't care if you rarely visit Surrey. We can't let this happen. We've got 13 too many already, and this is the only one that had a resolution. The others. The other 12, this will be the 13th if they do it. The other 12, none of them did a resolution supporting the Second Amendment. So these were the small percentage of the state that didn't. So right now, 6% of the state has passed local gun control. 94% has not. So we need to go after Surrey. Now, Albemarle, theirs doesn't come up until early August 5th, as I recall. Albemarle is doing the same thing. Theirs is coming up next week. And Albemarle, same thing again, this Northern Virginia stuff, that they're, the Alexandria / Arlington / Fairfax baloney. Ordinances banning guns pretty much everywhere they can with the maximum penalty. This is Albemarle. How sad is this? And all of the counties that surround Albemarle, none of them have done this. So they're totally floating in a sea of, them and embedded inside of them is Charlottesville. That little island is floating in a sea of liberty. And they're the pimple on the map. So we need to put pressure on Albemarle. And again, I don't care if you think it'll make any difference or not. We need to do it. We cannot let any of these people get off easily. They've got to hear from us, and they've got to hear that what they're doing is wrong and why it's wrong. they have no excuse for this. I've not heard of anything happening in Albemarle. And again, even if something did happen, they should not be taking away the rights of people like you and I. That'll never fix things. So By the way, I'll be, for those of you in the Albemarle, Charlottesville area, I'll be on the Rob Schilling show, which is a radio show at 12:30 on Tuesday. So maybe you want to tune in. I think he does some call-ins, so maybe you want to tune in and maybe call in. So we'll be talking about this I guess the day. I think it's the day before they're going to vote on this. Hopefully, people. This will wake up some more people in Albemarle. Okay, looking at lawsuits. The Winchester lawsuit is still well in progress. We're suing Winchester, which is something, by the way, I think all of us should be reminding Albemarle and Surrey of, is that we're suing Winchester and the NRA sued Fairfax. So there's two lawsuits out there. And we're suing Winchester over the very type of ordinance that Albemarle and Surrey are pushing. That lawsuit is still progressing. These things don't happen. I wish they could happen like this. They don't. They drag on and on and on to the point you almost forget they're out there. But they slowly work their way through the system. Winchester has responded to our initial lawsuit, and now we've responded to that. And so the next step will be coming up pretty soon. Hopefully, we'll be in court over this. As far as the defamation of you guys and me and everybody else in VCDL by the senators, or what is it? The
Lori Haas.
Yeah, well, yeah, the CSGV. I can't remember what that's. This Coalition.
I'm still very upset over that. I'm very pained and hurt. Coalition
to Stop Gun Violence. Their base statement that we are. A domestic terrorist organization. Now stay tuned. As I say, things take time. Do not think we've forgotten about that defamation. David Chipman, who is running to be the head of the ATF, all of us out there are very affected by anything that the ATF does. So this is of great interest to all of you. It should be. If it's not, it should be. His confirmation, basically in committee, it died on a even vote, partisan vote. The Democrats voted for him, the Republicans voted against him. It was an even tie. Therefore, he did not make it. However, the head of the majority leader can pull a bill out of committee that normally wouldn't have come out and put it on the floor for a vote anyhow. And Chuck Schumer is just the kind to do that. But nothing's happened yet. And it's been, I think we're going on 2 weeks, which is a clear indication that he doesn't have the votes. It's pretty clear there are 4, maybe 5 Democrats that are not solidly for this idea. And all we need is one to put the kibosh on it. But we need at least one, and we need every Republican to stand in unity with gun owners on this. But this is a good sign so far. Does it mean we've won? No, it does not. We need to keep the pressure on and keep watching this. Does not mean we've won, but it's a good sign.
It seems like more and more Democrats are wanting to shy away from any type of gun control, with the exception of the rumors that Northam might try and pull something in a special session because he doesn't care anymore. But the regular career Democrat is shying away from gun control, I think, because he's finding more and more of his constituents are gun owners.
Yeah, they had a big gain in Democrat gun owners and women gun owners recently over the last some months ago, over 5 million. So, there's also an article that recently came out that the Democrats are probably going to be hurt by gun control, their push on this in 2022. Now, Northam might pull something in that session, and we need to watch him and that session like a hawk in August when it starts. If this is true that they're going to be hurt, and I think it is, he's still the head of the Democrat Party, and if they're screaming at him, don't bring up gun control before an election, he probably won't. He may not care about himself, but he's still kind of forced to care about some of the others in the party. So we'll see what happens. We need to be very careful and very diligent and prepared like Minutemen to react with emails and phone calls in a powerful way if anything gets put in there that deals with gun control. We need to be on the watch. Just as a side note here, I've noticed that ammo prices are starting to come down. I don't know if you noticed that I monitor this stuff very regularly, and I've now found brass case 9mm for 40 cents a round for 1,000 rounds, including shipping. So it's coming down. 40 cents for 9mm is something we haven't seen in a long time. I noticed it was 50 cents for 40 Smith & Wesson, and I'm not sure about 45.
And the Remington plant is operating again.
And that may be part of it. This is not Remington where I saw this.
Right.
But that again, it's the market. So if Remington suddenly steps in and starts producing lower priced ammo, then everybody else has got to drop their prices or their stuff isn't going to sell anymore. So I think in anticipation and seeing this happening, we're starting to see the market take care of itself.
Right.
As it will. It's guaranteed. It will adjust. You people stop buying the high priced ammo, the prices will come down because they've got to sell it. So anyhow, that's a promising sign. Could it change tomorrow? Yes. We could have some other run on guns and ammunition. It could all go back up again. But hopefully now it's starting to get within range of some of our new gun owners who haven't had a chance to really build up a little bit of a supply, at least maybe a few hundred or a few thousand rounds as a pad against something like this in the future. So that's a good sign. I'll do a quick little show and tell. This is something I saw advertised, and I'll report back next month how this works. I know we're looking at a bolt carrier for an AR-15, real exciting. Yeah, none of you guys have one of these, I'm sure, but this one has a little screw right here, and it basically allows you to adjust the gas pressure that's going into this part of the system. So basically, you can control how hard the gun recoils. Now, why would you really need this? Well, I have, for example, an AR pistol that I'm going to put a suppressor on that I actually have set for a suppressor. A suppressor greatly increases the pressure on the bolt carrier and the bolt, so it can recoil with some real force, much more force than it normally would from without the suppressor on it. Suppressor just builds up a lot of pressure when you've got it on the end of the gun. So this allows you to adjust that, and you can adjust it without taking the gun apart. You do it right through the ejection port. You reach in there. If it's not cycling at all, you reach in and open it up a little bit more, lock it down, shoot another round. If it's now cycling, but cycling too hard, then you can back up and go the other way. It's a neat little invention. How well it works, well, I plan to find out. But this way, I don't have to worry about beating an AR pistol to death when I've got a suppressor on it.
So another alternative to an adjustable gas block.
Yeah, without you having to, putting on an adjustable gas block could be a real pain. This is just a matter of replacing the bolt carrier.
What keeps that screw from just backing out? Like, is it a hard turn, or do you turn it and lock it down? There
are actually two screws. One isn't a true screw. It's the vent. You turn it, and it can either completely open up if it's vertical, letting the gases flow by it, or if it's horizontal, it blocks all the gas.
Gotcha.
And you can adjust it anywhere in between. Then there's a lock screw right on top of it. That's the one you torque down. And you don't have to torque very hard, they said. They said don't over torque it. Doesn't take much, but it locks that first one in place wherever it is. So believe me, I'll give it a good test and we'll see how it does. Anyway, I thought it was a cool idea because adding a gas port onto your AR after the fact is something that, is not fun and probably needs a gunsmith to do properly unless you guys have all the right stuff. This, by the way, is made by something called 2A Armament. It's called the regulated bolt carrier for the AR-15. It took me months to get that. I guess they're on back order. So we'll see. I'll let you know in case for those of you that might be interested in have AR pistols or even an AR-15 that you want to control the pressure on it.
We agree, Tom. So basically, gun owners got to get out the vote.
Yes, we do.
Somebody else will do it.
Yeah.
Yes. And speaking of voting and elections, I understand that there are Republicans running in every district this year.
Correct.
So there are no Democrats running unopposed, but I think there's one district where the Republican is running unopposed.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's probably the way all elections should be. You should have a choice. So, yes, vote. This is a chance to turn things around for those of you in areas that said, all I've got is this crazy gun controller to vote for every time. There's nobody else. You can't say that this time around. November 2nd, get out and vote. Let's send a message to the General Assembly, and let's send a message to the gun controllers that we've had it. We've had it with this stuff. Enough.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about why it's particularly important by looking at what's happening in another part of the world. By the way, those of you in Orange County or in the area, if you're interested, I'll be speaking on the 21st at 7 p.m. at the Silk Mill and Grill in Orange County. This would be, I was invited to be the guest speaker for the Republican committee for Orange County. So it's open to the public.
Steve asked who makes that bolt carrier. He missed the name.
Oh, he did. Sorry. That's 2A Armament. 2A Armament.
There you go.
And again, I can't tell you how good I saw a review of it before I bought it. The guy really liked it. It worked great. I will give you my own if you want to hold on that or order it. It may take you a while to get it. You could always cancel it if this thing doesn't work out, but I think it will. I mean, what I've seen of it, I think it's going to work well. And actually going ahead and speaking about the being fed up with this and them taking our rights away, South Africa right now has got some really severe problems. And again, this is why the right to keep and bear arms is so critical as a human right. I mean, they have major riots going on, major things on fire and people being murdered. The police are running out of ammunition. The Army's low on ammunition. Citizens are having to give ammunition to the police, and they're guarding their own property and communities with hunting rifles and target rifles. Some of them have guns they carry for self-defense. You can get that in South Africa, but it's not easy. Some of them have that, but you're on your own right now. And anybody thinks that couldn't happen in any country, you're greatly mistaken. It absolutely can, and we've seen what's been happening in this country, especially last year.
Yes.
So we cannot let the gun controllers win this battle. Our lives are at stake on this. So are our family lives. That we can't do it. Just can't do it. Wanted to talk as a reminder again, not wanting to beat this to death, but the laws on marijuana and also domestic violence. I want to repeat something that was an alert in case you missed it. By the way, Hickok 45, if you follow his videos, he shows all different types of guns. He shoots them, evaluates them, how they work. He's got this to die for range in his backyard, loaded with all kinds of reactive targets. And he did a video on how to smoke pot, and he really understands it. Basically, he had clay pot, and he took an M16 out, and an M16, not an AR-15, and he smoked that sucker. It was great. That's the way you smoke a pot. So just a reminder again, just because marijuana is legal in Virginia, you will lose your gun rights when you start using it. Period. Doesn't matter if it's legal here. The federal government will say you can no longer have a gun. And if you lie about that on your
4473,
then you could be charged with a felony. So just a point that it's not, if you're a gun owner, sorry, it's not for you.
If you look on our YouTube channel, one of our VCDL attorneys, Gilbert Ambler, who's also one of the attorneys for U.S. Law Shield and himself, Ambler Law Offices, he looked into this exclusively, joined us the other night on a 1.5 hour program, and we cut it down to his 14 minutes of just talking about marijuana and gun owners. And you can find that video on our YouTube channel on YouTube.
And on domestic violence, the law is in effect now that if you're convicted of domestic violence in Virginia, you lose your gun rights for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, assuming you've kept your nose clean, you get your gun rights back automatically. However, there is a major caveat in this that you can't miss. We do not know for sure if you will get your federal gun rights back. If you don't, you may have lost your gun rights forever. There may be no way out of it. We don't know, and we won't know for 3 years. So while I don't know that any of you have any issues with domestic violence, if you do find something you're falsely accused or whatever, do not plea on anything that's got domestic violence in it, because you are truly playing with rolling the dice there on your ability to own guns for the rest of your life. So do not, if they say, oh, well, just take a plea on this over here with domestic violence, don't do it. Your own lawyer may not know the effects of this, and a lot of lawyers won't. Just be aware of that. Also, I think it's an important thing too. We need to do some thank yous and some congratulations. Number one, we had our annual our annual election. Every year we elect either 3 board members or 4 board members, and up for election this year was John Pierce and Al Steed and Gary Moeller. And but Gary and Al stepped down. They've done, and I want to thank them both. Al has just absolutely done an eye-popping job. Absolutely incredible powerhouse job out in Roanoke, out southwestern Virginia, that whole area. He really single-handedly made VCDL a real known entity in that part of the state. And we're going to sorely miss that activity. Now, he's staying on as an EM, as is Gary. And Gary was down in the Tidewater area. So we were thanking both of them for all the work that's been done over the years that they've been on the board. But other things are calling them now, and so they're stepping down and staying on as EMs. So the people to congratulate that have replaced them are Ed Levine, sitting there in the bottom right-hand corner, at least on my screen. Ed was elected handily, as was Ken Van Wyck, one of our other executive members. Ken had done some things like with Lobby Day and things of that nature. You may know him there, especially if you're one of the lobbying teams. Ed, if you've done anything with social media, he is our social media guy. And he said he will maintain doing that, which was a key for me, because he's doing a fantastic job. It's a big job. It's a very difficult job. I would not take it on. Ed handles it like it's nothing. So that's great. So, we got quite a team working here in this organization, and we need it because it's not going to get easier for a while.
Thank you very much. And I also want to thank Gary and Al for their service. And speaking of social media, I am a low fish in the pond compared to some guys that are out there like Maj Toure, who we've had speak at Lobby Day. And I talked to people about that we might have him on the show just to kind of tell us what's up in his world of, he's a strong Second Amendment advocate, nationally known. He has spoken at our Lobby Day. So I figured we'd bring him on and let him say a few things. So welcome, Maj. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for having me. I appreciate y'all.
So what I thought we'd do is, because, I've heard your speech when you talk about Bacon's Rebellion. I've watched you on CPAC, and thank you for the shout out on CPAC when you mentioned VCDL. I just want to give you 15 minutes to just say what you got to say. I'll tell you one thing I like is how you kind of reach out to all people, no matter who they sleep with or what color their skin is. And as a 60-year-old white guy with a little bit of a belly, it's hard to me reach out with gay, lesbian, people of color, because I'm not from there and they don't hear it. So I figured that's why we'd have you talk for 10, 15 minutes and just tell people what's up.
Well, first, thank you all again for having me, and I appreciate everybody for doing all of the work that y'all doing under such a under a clearly bigoted and biased regime over there down in Virginia. So thank y'all for that. And I just want everybody to just stay encouraged and traveling all across the country. We tend to. I see how many times people forget the small victories. We got to remember that even in the midst of all of this crazy stuff happening and they're really, really pushing an agenda. When you step back from that elephant for a second and take on the enormity of what we're actually getting done nationally, as well as, obviously each state is very important, But I think it can be sobering in the middle of all of this craziness that we're actually moving the ball forward. I mean, like legitimately. When you have spaces like, and I'm again, these things can sound very weird. Like, of course, Texas has very good gun culture, but doesn't have necessarily have the best gun laws. When you see a place like Texas that you thought would have already been constitutional carry, becoming constitutional carry, when you step back and look at the fact that 19 states in this republic are now constitutional carry, you got to remember 20 years ago, that was not a thing. Like, that was not a thing. We got to step back and look that we have a stronger representation in gun owners in African American and urban communities over the last 2 years. As of March, I want to say of 2019, we've had more African Americans being the dominant new gun owning demographic. And that's the heart of where leftist and anti-gun media and politicians have been. That's their meat and potatoes.
And you're training them by the thousands, right? You're training them. Right. You and your people are training them. How can people donate to help you get them trained?
They can go to GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter so we can keep those classes free to all who want to come learn. Our approach has been very simple. It's been one of, again, stepping back from the elephant, reminding people of their Second Amendment and constitutional right, as well as it may be something, very normal for us, but we got to remember there's an untapped demographic that's been concentrated on for so long that we have a new reservoir of gun owners. We can shift voting trends if we concentrate on the urban demographic. Again, last year, leftist government, left or right, overreaching government, non-limited government, did a lot of the heavy lifting for us by showcasing their hand and telling people, hey, you got to fend for self, which is what we as gun owners are. We've accepted that reality. But areas where they may have not received that messaging or understood that you are your own first responder were hit with an abrupt, hey, we're not sending the police out. Hey, we're going to let criminals, like actual criminals, out. And you got to fend for self. That created a record-breaking, almost month-to-month amount of new gun owners in these urban demographics. That is great for us. Now, the reason why that's also great is because of the fact that now this Biden administration nationally is now attempting to make, for one example, the Supreme Court blocked some Biden stuff 9-0. 9-0. I mean, and that's an indication that we have some sort of common sense still left on the Supreme Court. Now, we shouldn't have to, rely on that, but it's there. And they've done such a horrible job at being public servants that the general public, our job is easier. You said something a second ago. You said that demographic wouldn't relate. They will. And I'm telling y'all, we need you. You just have to have the for lack of a better term, the talking points that are relatable. The messaging doesn't actually change. The messaging is, hey, your demographic, the Black community, has been targeted by certain portions of government to make sure you don't have the means to defend yourself. Every Black, straight, gay, what, doesn't matter. Everyone in that demographic resonates with that. And it actually sometimes makes more of an impact when it comes from someone that doesn't look like us. When it's someone that says, that breaks that leftist media narrative that says, hey, these white guys and women don't actually care about you. And when you come and say, hey, not only do we care about you, even though we may live in different, demographics, I want you to have something to have the means to protect yourself from corrupt portions of the state, as well as I want to make sure that I'm not adding to or I'm helping to heal and break that divide. I'm here for you if you want some information. That messaging goes a lot further because it breaks that, hey, those guys over there don't care about you. So I want to encourage everybody to still do that. And it's very simple. You don't have to be anything other than what you are. You are a patriot fighting for the unification of America. And it's not a new schematic. We already have the formula for it. It's the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And so explaining that to a demographic and breaking that leftist narrative that says you don't care can be very, very powerful. And I just want to remain steadfast in our approach, where it doesn't come off, it's not pandering, it's not deceptive, it's not manipulative, it's just actual fact of the matter. And again, I know with the onslaught of media saying this, or, you know, on a national federal level, you know, Biden and these guys literally now saying, hey, we're going to go door to door for these things, and we're going to try to fight, you know, the shootings with these things. It can look overwhelming, but I'm telling you, we winning. Cornered animals fight as hard as they're fighting right now because they know they're about to lose. They know they're about to lose. And so they have to try everything, all of the tricks in the bag to make it look as if they're not. Again, 20 years of licenses to carry, even though I'm not obviously, you know, I think all of these things are infringements. However, we can use that as a measuring stick. 20 years of licenses to carry going up, 20 years of violent crime actually going down. You know, so again, and risk of sounding like a broken record, I want to just make sure that we're motivating each other, supportive of each other, giving the time and energy that we need to give to each other to make sure that we're promoting these simple facts. And if anybody has any questions on some tactics that I use that have been effective, please ask them. I'll share what I know. Because I got to get ready in a quick second to do another interview real quick. But I just want to thank you all, one, for obviously allowing me, having me out, continuing to spread that message of, you know, black and white, and obviously there's other colors in between, working together against, you know, oppressive regimes, as in the Bacon Rebellion and other, you know, and other things like that, as in the Black Panther Party, which also had white members, another little tricky, and women members in leadership, another little tricky tactic that the media doesn't, you know, their tactic is to not express that. Black Panther Party had white members. Black Panther Party had women in positions of leadership. You know, so I just want to keep everybody in our mind, and making sure that everybody, from me seeing this from all of these different states all around the country, we're seeing this pushback. Even if you step back even bigger than America, you see people fighting for liberation. You see it in Haiti. You see it in Cuba. You see it in South Africa. This is not just because of the fact that, like, people are like mad they didn't get a COVID vaccine, as Biden would say. It's actually not that. It's actually,
well, it's like during your CPAC, where you had like 15 slides to get through, and one of them that really hit me is you got to watch Virginia, because Virginia is like the front domino. And if you're sitting somewhere in Texas or Tennessee and you think it's not going to happen to me, if you watch Virginia fall, it's coming your way.
It's coming your way, and in reverse. We thought that New York, you know, especially with that court, we thought that New York was a lost cause. You know how many times I heard that? New York's lost. They just want something huge. Then right after that, you get California's so-called assault ban. That's 3 decades. That's 3 decades. That's overturned. And obviously they're going to try to fight. The precedent has already been set. It's just time.
Let me ask you
it's just a challenge, and to stepping back. And these are the areas that, you know, we thought were, oh man, there's no way, you know. We got magazine capacity bans tossed, you know, in Jersey, magazine capacity bans tossed in Cali. You know, so saying all of this to say, y'all, I just want to remind everybody to stay in the fight, because we're actually winning. And if y'all got any questions, let's chop it up about them now.
I was gonna ask you too. So you travel doing these classes?
Absolutely.
So I think reaching out, especially to some of the minority communities in the state, one way to do that would be to do what you're doing, which is to offer training for free.
Yep.
So I think what we may need to do is open a line of communication. I think the logical thing might be to pay to have you come down here, and let's set this up in a few places to reach out to the minority communities. Let's get people trained to understand their rights and how to handle guns safely. And
let's do it right in Richmond.
Richmond, right where I am. I'm right in Chesterfield County, so we're right here. So if you wouldn't mind, send me an email, president@vcdl.org, and let me know who I should be communicating with. Let's set something up. I'll talk to the board about doing this, and if you give me an idea what it might cost, we can see if we can go in the piggy bank and get you out of here. Because we need to, it's fine to talk about this, but I want to get moving on it if we can.
Let's do it. The quicker the better. I'm with it. Y'all already got the email. Let's set it up. I'm down.
All right. So that's my main question.
Good. Let me just ask people in chat if you have any questions for Maj before he runs off and does his next thing. Go ahead and throw them in chat. And Pat, do you have any questions before he heads off?
No, I just did want to make a comment about something you said, Ed. You made the comment that Virginia was the first domino, and other states are thinking, well, it could never happen here. But that's what Virginians said, and that's why the domino started tipping like it did.
That's why we had 60,000 people show up.
Right. The domino hasn't fallen yet. We pushed it back up. But a whole lot of people that said, oh, gun control could never happen in Virginia, they woke up with cold ice water in their face, because it can happen. All it takes is one election cycle for everything to turn around the wrong way.
Gun owners cannot afford to ignore elections anymore. You can't do it. If you're doing it, you're putting the inscription on your own tombstone. I had some people say, well, I think I'll move to another state. I said, look, if Virginia falls, be sure you get an apartment, because you're going to be moving a lot. This is going to follow you around. So,
yes.
Well, Maj, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you and like what you're doing. Like you said, we'll get you in touch with Phillip to continue that effort. I know you got other things going on. Why don't you go ahead and plug your following and your channels and your whatever, so everybody can just kind of keep watching you.
Before we do that, I do have one question for Maj, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How can VCDL members reach out to minorities and new gun owners?
You got to go to places. One, develop the liaisons, and I'll help. We do an event and stuff like that. But also, you got to go into places that you're not going, and even in spaces where cultural relevancy matters. And so even asking a question and saying, hey man, what's that song you're listening to? Hey man, what book is that? I don't know if, once you start those conversations and being open to the opportunity of where is the opportunity. My libertarian friends are really good at this. They look, when they're outside, they look for opportunities at the gas station and sparking up conversations about the thing that they're into. For them, it's obviously libertarians. If they see somebody with a Ron Paul sticker or something like that, creating those small opportunities and spaces every single area to just ask, and let the other person express themselves and create that space. But also, again, just developing those liaisons. I actually have a curriculum that we're working on, and I'll bring it down when we do an event. And but legitimately, it kind of got to be in places that outside of your comfort zone in regards to places off your beaten path. Hey, if I happen to say once a week, I'm going to be in a neighborhood that is predominantly not people that look like me. And as I'm having a drink at this bar, engage. Simple and plain. You know what I mean? And in that engagement, you let the conversation go in a direction that it needs to go. But, as gun owners, we can always turn the conversation back to firearms. That's not going to be hard for us at all. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So that's been very productive for me individually and for a lot of our the people that's in support of our movement.
So
lastly, if anybody wants to support, GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. And I want everybody to, go to solutionarylifestyle.org. That's our website for the Solutionary Summit. We're going to have special forces guys, Green Beret guys, and all of that teach a lot of beginners and so-called high-value VIP people on a boat in Miami. Everybody, hey, grab a ticket if you want to come out. If you don't want to go to that part, come learn about how you can articulate these points, among other things, political education, finances, all of that. That's going to be at the summit. That's September the 3rd through the 5th. The website for that is Solutionary, like revolutionary with solution instead, solutionarylifestyle.org.
I'll tell you what, as you email Phillip about coming down and doing something for us, if you give a couple paragraphs of all that stuff that you said, he'll include it in the alert so we don't miscommunicate to our members as to what we want them to look at.
Perfect. And then if everybody
September 3rd to the 5th.
Yeah, September the 3rd through the 5th. If anybody wants to donate to our work at Black Guns Matter, that's gofundme.com/Black Guns Matter.
All right. Well, thank you very much for
Yes,
joining us.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I'll talk to y'all in a bit.
Good seeing
All
you.
right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
Very.
And doing something that we've, he's been doing this for a while. It's something we've got to get involved in here. And
So if you out there in YouTube land, other VCDLers that have never seen Maj speak, look on our YouTube channel for Maj Toure speaking at our lobby day where he talks about Bacon's Rebellion. All right, back to our regularly, and I heard I saw that, I don't know if it was an internet connection or what, but we went offline for like a minute. And when we put the video up on YouTube, I'll merge those two together so you can watch it seamlessly. But somebody said it was probably the ATF shutting us down, and I don't believe that. So
I guess did you lose? You probably lost some of the recording of Maj, didn't you?
Probably lost a minute.
Yeah.
But beyond my control. So if you're listening ATF right now, cut me off. Okay, I don't think it was them.
Don't tempt fate. Yeah, could have been YouTube though.
YouTube same goes. No, never mind. I'm not gonna.
Never mind.
I tried that once with Facebook and we got cut off.
Yep. So Philip, you have a list. Are we
we're
through that? Halfway through it?
We pretty much covered my main list. So
I got a couple.
Okay.
I got a couple things on my list. If you go out, if you go out to a gun store or something, and you see the blue or green or any type of cards like this, I don't know. It doesn't show with my background, but the cards from VCDL that tell you all the gun laws. If you see any color other than fuchsia, hot pink, get rid of those cards. Send an email to bruce@vcdl.org and say you need some cards for the thing. And actually, don't say you need some cards. Say how many you want. And they come in packs about this thick. So if you say
that's 100.
Yeah, so if you say I need one, he's going to send you one pack, right? He's not going to send you one card. You can donate. You can send in donations, as a lot of people do with it. You can send in a self-addressed stamped envelope if you just want 5 or 10. Just don't make him guess. Bruce is a bad guesser. Bruce@vcdl.org. Hey, Bruce, I need 10 individual cards. I need one pack of 25. Whatever it is you need, tell him that, and you'll get those cards out. So that's one thing I want.
By the way, that's manly pink.
Yes. Yes, it's not effeminate, guys. It's manly pink.
The next request, you could take this as a bashing or a request, depending on how you want it. Mike Wilbert is our state gun show coordinator, and he should be Dr. Mike Wilbert because he's almost like a dentist, because it is like pulling teeth to get members to come do what they love, and that's talk to other members about guns at a gun show. So if you've never worked a gun show, that's okay. They'll train you. So look at the last alert, actually on all the social media. There's a plea, literally a plea from Mike Wilbert saying, please come help us. We need you. And if you don't have to do it forever, but please step up to the plate and help the gun show coordinator. So that's in the alert. That's also on the social media. Email Mike, said, Ed beat me up online and I'm here to help. And please do so. And then the final thing, I know we've heard you loud and clear. You're tired of meeting online and you can't wait to get back to in-person meetings. So because we can't meet in the police stations or libraries and things like that anymore, we've had to be creative. And usually we've had hold the meeting, and then it's 9:30 at night and people are trying to either go home or eat dinner late at 9:30. So we figured out, why don't we have a local meeting, eat first at the restaurant, and then have our meeting in the restaurant. But there's generally not a bunch of restaurants that can take 100 people at the same time, feed them all, and then have meeting space. So we've talked to my friends that own the Bungalow Lake House in Sterling. And on August 11th, Phillip, correct me if I got the date wrong. I think it's August 11th. I'll know in a second.
Yeah, I'll check.
Let me see. August 11th.
Correct.
It is August 11th. So on August 11th, we're going to have a VCDL in-person meeting for around 75 people. All right. If you want to eat dinner, you can get there between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Order. You're not rushed. And then at 8 o'clock, Phillip will start off the meeting. If you're not done eating, you can still eat because it's a restaurant. You'll just have to keep your glass clinking to a minimum so he can talk and tell what's going on. So we'll see how that goes. If it works out great, we'll do it again, and we'll do it in more places. And this is also a call for you guys out there. If you have a place that can have a similar setup and feed us and have the meeting space and whatever else, then let us know, and we'll try and do it out your way as well.
I'm talking to somebody about Lynchburg. We'll see if they're going to talk to somebody today, see if maybe they'll set something up. Yeah, we need to start doing this again around the state.
And we need space for 50 to 100 people.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be a restaurant. And by the way, although Ed said that, we can't do it at police stations and all that anymore. No, not in Fairfax, Arlington, and all the communist areas of the state. But in the freer areas,
right.
Yeah, that's all still fine.
That's what I meant. I had my blinders on.
Yeah, 95% of the state doesn't have any of that baloney local gun control. So,
right, and public libraries generally have meeting rooms that if you have a library card, you can get it for free. So there is that too.
Yeah, so again, we kind of leave it up to some of our locals to say, hey, let's do a VCDL meeting in Salem. Well, then we just need to have a place to hold it and a time. You really just coordinate it with me. You do president@vcdl.org. Let me know what you got. We'll look at the calendar and put something together and make it happen.
Yep. Email issues. We had a couple of alerts go out on the 13th. Two of them actually, two or three that did not go to everybody on the list. As a matter of fact, two of them only went to about half the list. So if you did not get alerts on the 13th, then you can go to our website, and on the home page of our website, down under, news? Let me look. Sorry. Scroll down the page, and it's under latest news, and you can see the last 3 or 4 VA alerts there, and just click on them, and you can click on the more tab and look back at other alerts. If you've just joined the list, you can catch up that way. So all of our alerts go on our website under the news section there. And for all of you that are members that pay your membership dues, you can log into vcdl.org with the email address that you have on record with us. If you have not logged in since the end of March, you'll have to reset your password because we've switched web hosts, but the email address is still the same, vcdl.org. If you had set up automatic renewal or automatic donations, you will have to reestablish them. I'm sorry about that, but we have a new card processing system that's saving us some money. So you will have to reestablish recurring payments and auto renewals. Yes, sir, Ed.
Are there family memberships yet?
There are family memberships. So family memberships work where the primary family member pays full $25 dues and gets the Defender mailed to them. And then each additional family member in the same household, up to 6, are $15 a piece. And they do not get the Defender mailed to them, but they have full advantage of the website. Something else that is coming, and it's very close to being launched, is one of our members, Sarah Max, works for Aflac. And she has been working very hard over the last year trying to get deep, deep discounts for VCDL members. And that will be launching in the next few days, probably. So watch your emails, watch the VA alert. And you do have to be a paid member to participate. But from what I understand, the discounts on the Aflac policies are deeper discounts than Aflac employees get. So
Did you say
pretty
Sarah
good deal there.
Did you say Sarah with Aflac?
Sarah with Aflac, Sarah
Oh, I thought you
Max.
said Sarah is a quack. I misheard you.
Sarah Max, M-A-X, Max.
Sarah's a friend of mine. I get to do that.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
But
I
not
think we had a
anymore.
pretty good list.
Craig asked if 5, 10, and 15 and 20-year memberships are a thing. At the moment, not unless you renew at a gun show to get in free. It adds another year to your membership. But I believe we may have life memberships coming very soon. So,
And you can, if you wanted a 5-year membership, you can just send in $125.
mhm.
And that
You
will be
could.
like a 5-year.
But you cannot do that on the website. Our system doesn't have the capability for more than 1 year ahead of time. So you can do
I
it
know
by
the treasurer.
yes. Well,
And
the
I know-
membership director can take care of it as well.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yes.
I know them both.
Yep. And I think that's all I had on my list. Has anybody seen any questions coming up in the chat that need to be addressed?
Now, unfortunately, we lost some of the chat from the first segment.
No, I see people talking about COVID passport needing in grocery stores or restaurants. Oh, Sarah's apparently listening.
Oh,
She just said, I heard that.
Yeah, her ears were burning.
okay.
Yeah. So, actually, would we want, if she's free, do we want her to jump on for a minute and talk about the program or no?
I don't have a problem.
If she wants to.
Premature.
We're an hour into it, but yeah, we could do that. Sure.
All right, let me just see something real quick.
Yeah, so we've been working on a bunch of stuff behind the scenes here to give you a little more bang for your membership buck. No pun intended. But I'm really excited about a lot of the things that are developing.
Okay, well, so we'll see if she clicks the link and joins us real quick and maybe just gives us a bird's eye view. See what I did there with that?
I saw that.
Give us a bird's eye view of what's coming down the pike. It's still in the creation process. It's been approved, so this way maybe we'll get some questions answered. Okay, she says she's going to try and get on. So we'll give her a minute to get on. And so if you have any questions about what the Aflac plan might be or cover for you as a member, besides just getting the Aflac services at a lower price than you would if you bought them on your own, start thinking about those questions you'll have. And when Sarah joins us, then you can ask her directly.
Yeah, Aflac is not in itself an insurance. So, you need to have your own health insurance. And she'll explain this, but it covers other expenses that are not covered by your insurance. All of us have co-pays and other things that come in, or maybe some little procedure that's not covered by your insurance. Aflac is there to fill that gap for you.
Pat, why did we do this as an organization? Why did we reach out to someone that's not guns at all and bring a service to our members?
Well, we didn't actually reach out. Sarah is a member and she reached out to us, but we felt it was a win-win situation because Sarah's offering a good deal to our members. So we were able to work with her and get this set up. Anytime we can save our members a little bit of money, if it's something that they can use, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, we just don't want to drive people nuts with things, and we don't. That's we put the option out there, and you take it or leave it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see a Wine of the Month club from VCDL or anything like that. But
yes, so
calendar of the month. How about
surprise! Welcome to the program, Sarah Max, VCDL member and Aflac representative.
Hi, everybody.
So I know it's only because I called you Sarah the Quack that you responded, but yet here you are, and we're actually kind of wrapping up the meeting. So we'll just use this as a little bit of a teaser for what you're going to be offering to VCDL members. So why don't you tell them what you can that's not secret yet, and just kind of let them know what's up.
Well, I know you caught me off guard a little bit, but yeah, basically we're getting special rates and special products that you would not normally be able to get outside of a workplace. Usually that's, the optimum situation, but normally on a direct basis, you would not be able to access certain products and things like that. So, and it's like I said, special rates and great coverage, whether or not you have major medical coverage or not. I think everybody knows that the major medical marketplace is kind of a mess, and a lot of people don't have any coverage at all. So, and even if you do have it, it's really expensive. I don't think it's very reasonable enough for the amount of times you use it a year. So I don't have it. I have all the Aflac products, and it was a portion of what it would cost for major medical. So I really feel like it's important for at least to get the information and see how it works for you and your family.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody in the chat have any questions for Sarah? And while we wait for a question, I see is how is VCDL protecting online membership list? Our membership list is not online.
Our membership list is on the back end side of our website, but it is a protected area. So it is protected by the same type of encryption and so forth that your bank uses.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if he's asked as far as like, are we reaching out to people? Just so people know, we are not reaching out to members specifically for this product. Members are going to have access to my calendar, and will be able to click on the day and the time that suits them to be able to talk to me.
So in addition to my error of saying that you're reaching out, and calling you a quack, there's two errors that I made that I've been corrected on. Thank you.
Yeah. So what'll happen basically is there'll be a link on the members only side of the website. So when you sign in, you'll have access to the link where you can contact Sarah and make an appointment and see the sign up for the various Aflac programs that will be offered at the special pricing.
Yeah, and all of the brochures will be up there, and as well as a rate sheet. And then, like I said, get a time to meet with me over the phone, and I can walk everybody through it and just give them the information, and go from there.
And she'll know you're a member because you have to be logged in to get to the link to get to her.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us at short notice, and good to see you. Okay. And sorry I called you quack. I was just joking, but that was some lightning fast response time by you.
Yeah, boy.
I try to be responsive to all my customers, and especially when they have claim questions or anything that they don't have to call some 1-800 number. They have my number. Believe it or not, I answer the phone, help people with
and
claims.
You're a real person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, all you VCDLers out there. Thank you for joining us. And again, YouTube will automatically put this up as 2 videos because we had an internet glitch in the middle. I will merge them together and create 1 video. So you can either watch part 1, part 2, or part 1 and 2 together. All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
We need to go shooting again sometime. Phillip.
Yes.
What's that?
I said we need to go shooting again sometime.
Yeah, Sarah and I did a little shooting down in Virginia Beach.
It's awesome.
Good.
Yep.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.